Alright, so Bill here, we're in a car driving from Santa Cruz down to Watsonville to go visit an aquaponics place. I'm here with my family. There's my kid, my mom, that's my dad. What's the name of the place we're going to? Do you know, Dad?
Veritas?
Veritas? Okay, Veritas Aquaponics. It's run by Drew...
Drew Hopkins, and I don't know the other fellow's name.
Okay, Drew Hopkins. So we're going to meet up with Drew Hopkins. And Miles, do you know what aquaponics is? No? Okay, well I think you're going to find out. Alright, see y'all.
My name is Curtis White, and started here with the Veritas project from day one.
Fantastic.
I'm Nate Kaufman, and I do education and outreach here at Veritas.
Awesome, fantastic. Well, let's take a look.
Cool. Awesome.
Witness protection, huh?
Really, everything starts over here with the fish tank. This is a nice, like, 600-gallon tank. We've got, you know, white Pacific sturgeon in here. Try and wrangle one up.
Oh my goodness, whoa!
Yeah. So, these guys are about 8 months old.
Okay.
And, you know, they'll get to be, we'll sell them off when they're about 30 to 50 pounds each.
Okay.
You know, to be harvested for their meat.
Okay.
But for now, we feed them, and they metabolize that food, and as they metabolize that, you know, they excrete waste. Pretty much,
they poop.
They poop, you know. they're in there, they're pooping up a storm, and basically, you know, fish excrete about 80% pure liquid ammonia, and then the rest comes out as a solid, and that's really what has all your sulfur, potassium, magnesium, and everything. So basically, you know, they excrete all their waste in here, and then it hits a series, these two barrels, which are a series of biological filtration. Basically, these are designed to catch any solids, give them a place to be broken down by bacterial processes. We rely on what are called nitrifying bacteria. So a couple classes, Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter bacteria, that actually convert the ammonia that the fish produce. They convert it first to nitrites and then into nitrates. Okay. Both ammonia and nitrites are really toxic to fish, so that's why in a conventional aquaculture system, essentially you have a pond, and when it starts to go foul, you simply drain off half the water and refill it with pure water. In an aquaponic system, we never drain that water off. We simply have bacteria that, you know, convert the ammonia and nitrite into a bioavailable form of nitrogen for plants, and then as those plants actually absorb the nitrates, they remove it from the water and clean it for the fish. Okay. So after it hits these two filtration barrels, the water passes through what's called a wicking bed. So if you can imagine, the water is passing through these beds, actually only to about right here. Okay. So below that, it's just, you know, gravel, and above that, it's a layer of soil. Okay. If you can imagine, the water line is right at the base of the soil, so that's just kissing the bottom of the soil. And then if you've ever, you know, dipped a paper towel into water and you see it wick its way up. Right. You know, we utilize the capillary action to maintain a constant level of moisture in our soil. So even just an inch down, it's nice and moist and cool, but it's not wet. The soil's never saturated. So we don't have, you know, so it's ideal for root vegetables, carrots, beets, onions, garlic, things that would be really susceptible to an excess of water, or if they were ever waterlogged. Great for peppers. I mean, obviously we've got chard and kale that are just doing great. But then so it'll go through the wick bed, and at the end it'll actually, underground, we have it piped over into these are what are called deep water culture beds. Okay. So this is our primary growing method here. It's about a 1 foot deep channel of water, 4 feet wide. And we grow directly into these floating rafts.
The roots just absorb.
Oh, cool.
The roots just dangle, yeah, straight into the water. You know, it also makes the ease of harvest, transplant, seeding, you know, really easy. We seed directly into these plugs, and when they have roots that start to protrude, we'll actually just pop it right in. Just like that, you know, essentially there's no transplant shock, you know, no lapse, you know, in growth. Okay, really. Cool. It also allows us to have seeding and transplanting be like a 1-2 person job instead of an entire operation. Okay.
Okay, we need to do the test. Hey, Miles, how's their basil? Is it fantastic?
You
want a second bite?
Says it's
Is
really
it
strong.
good enough for a second one? All right, cool. So do you use any IT systems to support this, or is it like how do you know when the chemical composition of the water is right or whatever, or is that like dipping a stick in? How do you?
Yeah, so we have electronic monitors for everything here. It's right now it's all manually done.
Okay.
Just every day, once a day with electronic testing, and then once a week with reagent-based testing, just to double check that our electronics probes are still functioning as they should. But all the temperature controls and everything here in the greenhouse, that's all run by a computer. So essentially, as soon as it hits 78 degrees in here, the roof vents will open. As soon as it gets below that, they'll close. So the entire day, it's they're opening, they're closing. It'll actually be totally independent, because that side of the greenhouse gets hit with sunlight much earlier in the morning than this side. So it'll usually heat up a lot faster.
But when I was a little kid, man, first sign of a sore throat or a cough, Mom would whisk us off to the doctor for a shot in the bum of antibiotics, right? Yeah. Nowadays, we know that we need some of this biology that's inside us to help us digest our meals and our immune system, our immune function. Some of that is biology that's on us. And if we kill everything, we'd become immediate host to all kinds of other things if we lose all our protection. The same thing happens with this system. Instead of sterilizing our system all the time, which makes it susceptible for all kinds of new residents, we nurture the biology. So we're looking forward to this water becoming older and older and older, because things show up in there that are beneficial. And that's what we're nurturing, is beneficial bacteria. That's why we drink kombucha and probiotics, and all those things are part of the age today where we start to respect the helpful biologies. I need more coffee. Our neighbors here in this valley, which is the most abundant valley in America, the Salad Bowl, Salinas Valley, is where 95% of the lettuce in America comes from. Third generation farmers here will tell you that they grow a head of lettuce per square foot 2 times a year. They turn their crops once, twice, and then winter's here again. 2 heads of lettuce per square foot per year, compared to our 60 per square foot per year.
Wow.
So inside this 10 acres, we grow 1 million heads of lettuce a month. To do that out there requires 450 acres once.
Wow.
When you consider the amount of water that's going on that mud as those seeds are taking hold, the amount of tractors that are tilling that land, the harvesters that are breaking their backs down low, the pesticides, the fertilizers, everything, none of which we use in here. Look, there's no dirt, there's no furrows, there's no sprinklers. We use 99% less water than they do because ours is all preserved. And we have hundreds of times the yield. This is the agriculture of the future.
So one thing I asked your colleagues, but I was wondering on your thoughts on it as well, and if you guys have other thoughts on it. Since the course is focusing on information technology, they were mentioning to me a couple of the ways that IT features into the system as you currently have it. Do you have a sense for how might information technology be used over the next 10 or 20 years in an endeavor like this?
Oh man, dramatically. One of the fortunate things we're looking at is we caught the eye of NASA. The Ames Research Center has offered us something called the Space Act Agreement, where we will have a co-collaborative effort in the sciences. They want to study the nitrification process and the feasibility of growing food in space for the space station and further exploration, as well as just humanity on Earth. We have a great deal of impact happening in agriculture. So NASA is putting 14 scientists in a laboratory here on this site to perform data collection and study why this is working so well. That science will be shared by us and them. What we're looking forward to immediately in information technology is a way to test our water and the production cycles, the nitrification processes, what happens to the mineralization of elements in the soils, being able to be uptaken by plants, the oxygen levels, the dissolved oxygen in the tank, the pH levels in the tank. There's so many things that we need to test for. And we have dramatic, massive, catastrophic failures when that occurs. We have an acre of water here, and if chemically something happens, we lose a massive crop. So we have to monitor consistently. That monitoring needs to happen minute by minute wirelessly and be sent to our phones. And this is Viridis one of thousands. We're going to put these thousands of these all over the world. We need this modernized and wired.
So in this house, we really have our chard, kale, cukes, substantial amount of tomatoes in production, mostly Cherokee purple and a few other heirloom varieties.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. At the time, these stalks will actually spiral around these buckets because they grow so long. So it's kind of like weaving almost. You can totally make art out of tomatoes.
We've got going on here, where they're braided together. Because these are all indeterminate tomatoes. They'll essentially, as long as they have the right conditions, they'll keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. So we'll let these get to be like 25, even 50 feet long before they'll really start to have a diminishment in the amount of fruit set.
Wow.
Big tomatoes.
I only come down a few days a week, and these were transplanted 2 weeks ago. These cucumbers, they were maybe
Now they're producing fruit.
6 to 8 inches tall each, and now they're well over 1.5 to 2 feet tall each. They're actually producing cucumbers. So really, just an idea of like the rapid growth that we experience on the farm.
We're beyond organic. Organic has 226 different pesticides that are approved for use on organic produce. We didn't want to stoop to that. We can use none. Everything in our system has to be digestible. We have to be able to feed that to our kids to spray it on our plants, because otherwise it'll kill the fish or the bacteria, which must be protected. So we can use none fertilizers. UC Santa Cruz, hippie college of California and the growers of the world understand what we're talking about, and they were pretty enthused about our products. So it didn't take but 2 tours from the procurement department and then the entire dining staff, which 20 more will be here tonight on a tour. They gave us a beautiful food purchasing contract for thousands of dollars and asked us to supply all of the lettuce, tomatoes, any specialty goods, anything we grow. We're first in line now at UC Santa Cruz over the food service contract.
Nice.
Now we've been contacted by the Office of the President of the UC Association and are looking at a similar contract for the entire UC network.
Wow.
To be able to provide this beautiful food to all the students of the UC.
Awesome.